In this video, we are going to retrieve data from the database from a single task. We are extracting data from the database of that single task. Earlier, we extract all the tasks in our database, but now we are only getting a specific task from the database. I am in my task controller.js file, and let's create a function get task. It is not plural, and it will be an async function request response and mention in our and export that function. So get task and import that function in our route.js. Get task and create a router dot, it is also a get method, API / task /: and we pass the ID, comma, get the task. So to get the task, the specific task from the database, we need to pass the ID in our URL path to distinguish which is the task that we want from the database. For that we need to pass the ID. So in our task.controller, so how can we get our URL data in our function? For that we need to use a property called require.params. Require.params to extract the URL data in our function. So if I just console.log the require params, and we send in our response, we send single task. So if we print single task and we console log our require params, let's go to Postman, create a new request, get single task. It is a get method. Let's copy the URL and in header accept value in application JSON, and we also need to pass the ID, so slash, and if I go to the get data, so if I copy my ID of the task, copy that and slash, and we paste the ID of that task. And now when I send the request, body, select raw, and from drop down select JSON, and by that we get rid of that error. Now send the request again. So let me go through the code. Let's save the file one more time. Send the request again. So we have getting an error. That is because in our route we forgot to provide slash. So let's save the file and send the request one more time. And you can see now that our respond.send print our single task message. And if I go to the VS Code, you can see it is printing the ID of that user. So in my task controller, we are getting the URL parameter value in our function. So by require dot param, we get the URL value, which is our ID, which we pass in our URL. Our ID in our const ID and require dot params, and let's remove and let me put it in a try and catch block. Cut that. So in our try block we are extracting the ID from require.params from URL, and after that we create our const task await. From our task module we use find by ID method and we pass that ID, the URL, the ID that we extract from our URL. After that we send our response dot status 200 and our JSON we send our task, and in our error we are sending our response dot status 400 and our JSON message our error dot message. Save the file. Now that we create our get task, let's go to the postman and check that. So we are sending the same ID. Let's send the request, and as you can see we get a single task related to this ID. If I change the ID and send the request, we get an error message. So in this video, how can we extract the single task from the database? I will see you in the next video.